Well folks, we're back one more time from the land of Oz with a Some Help banjo lesson. And this one is one of the many tunes I've done out of this wonderful book called The Reader's Digest Treasury of Best Loved Songs, and contains quite a few good ones. And today we're going to look at a tune made famous by both Bing Crosby and Lewis Armstrong many years back called Pennies From Heaven. Well, in that clip you've just heard, you've heard an introduction there that I actually stole from a Lewis Armstrong live clip of the Newport Jazz Festival. And on stage with Lewis was Bobby Hackett, a great cornet player, and Bobby introduced Louie and they played that introduction. I thought, man, that's a lovely introduction. So I set about learning it and whacked it on the video clip. And I think all us banjo players, we steal things. It's part of our nature, you know, we hear something and we think, gee, that sounds great. So we put it in our playing, and eventually we finish up with a lot of these things, these ideas from other people that influence our playing over the years. And I can't think of how many times I've sat down with Lewis Armstrong and closely listened to what Louie did and copied some of the beautiful lines he used. But getting back to this tune, I'm going to have the music up on Banjo Hangout forums, and I'm going to flick that on there. And it's a good piece of music to work on. It's got some lovely changes, and whether you're a starting player, from a beginner player or a intermediate player, we can tackle this in many different ways. I mean, you could just play the chords to it, you could play the single melody, or you could have a go at playing the chord melody structure like I've just done on that video there. And whichever path you choose, I hope it's a help, because when we're first learning banjo, it's not easy. Nobody ever said it was easy, but with a bit of luck you can keep on taking up the challenge. With this tune, Pennies From Heaven, in the first two bars you've got 4 changes of chord, and those 4 changes create a lovely bass line in behind the melody. And the funny part about the human mind is when I play this melody here, I'm actually playing it on the 2nd string, but the subconscious mind picks the melody line out. It stands out to people. I mean, although it's camouflaged in amongst the other 4 strings, you know, you can't miss it, it's there. So when you're playing this type of banjo, don't be afraid after you pick the melody note to actually strum across the 4 whole strings, because as I say, we can pick the melody line out through what's going on. Just to give you an example, I'll just play those 2 bars for you. can hear the melody, can't you, there? One other thing before I go, with diminished chords, with playing them, of course, diminished chords and notes that are added to diminished chords, we've got to remember, with our banjos, we've only got 4 strings. So, with a lot of chords, we can't play the whole lot of the notes. I mean, some of these chords run into 5 and 6 notes. Now, a diminished chord has got 4 notes in it as it is. And when a note, or when a tune such as Whispering comes up, or this tune I've just done, Pennies From Heaven, there's a part in it where we're playing a C diminished, for example, with a B melody note. And that occurs in Whispering, in the first part of Whispering. No. That chord there. Now, when we look at that chord on our tenor banjo or our plectrum banjo, we look at that and we think, that's not a diminished, that's a 7th shape. The point is, it might be a 7th shape, but it's still a diminished chord, and there is a difference. The diminished chord is so close to a flat 9th chord, it's close to a half diminished chord, it's close to a flat 9th chord, so, but they all are a little bit different. So, getting back to Whispering, or this tune here, where this actually B note comes in with a C diminished, the B natural, I can only actually play it in one position where I can get a clash of the important notes in that chord, which is C, the C diminished, and the B note. And it's here. I'll just show you. Hear that? And you get that beautiful clash of the C and the B note, where normally we can't get it in different positions on our banjo. So I just thought I'd talk about that. And where it comes in Pennies From Heaven is on the second part, or I use it everywhere on the first part too, but on the second part, hear it there. And when I play it down the lower strings, but it's not the same, is it? It hasn't got that position there, is not as full and as nice as the other one, because I can't effectively do it in that position. So just remember, when you're looking at, as I say, chord positions, although they might look like a 7th year, they could be a different chord. They could be a diminished or a half diminished or something like that. Anyway, all the best with Pennies From Heaven. And if you go to Banjo Hangout, and you should be there if you're not already, and go to the forum, I'll have a sheet up similar to this with the chords and the melody line for you, and also my backing track, which will also include the verse. So if you want to have a crack at the verse and give it a nudge, because I've already written the chords in what I think the chords are for that verse, not the verse, the intro, and if you can, do your own arrangement and plonk it on there with mine, that'd be great. So until next time, have fun. 1, 2, 3, 4. Every time